The fluorescent lights overhead cast an unforgiving glare on the rows of neatly labeled shelves, each one stacked with identical containers bearing a single, hand-stamped numeral. Kaida hunched over a clipboard, her eyes scanning the inventory list with a practiced intensity as she methodically checked off each entry against the contents of the shelf. The air was heavy with the scent of disinfectant and a hint of something else, something metallic, like rust, but it was hard to pinpoint. The storage room itself was a labyrinth of narrow aisles and cramped alcoves, the walls lined with shelving units that seemed to stretch on forever in every direction. Kaida's supervisor, Miss Fadhill, stood beside her, a clipboard of her own tucked under her arm as she scrutinized Kaida's work. "You're missing item 742, she pointed out, her voice low and even, with an edge of disapproval. Kaida's eyes darted to the shelf in question before refocusing on her list. She nodded, already reaching for the correct container and pulling it off the shelf with a smooth motion. The numeral on its side matched Miss Fadhill's words, but as Kaida turned the container over in her hands, she noticed something odd, a faint smudge of rust on the label. Miss Fadhill's gaze flicked to the container, then back to Kaida's face, but if there was any reaction, it was imperceptible. "Continue with your task," she said, her voice still neutral. Kaida returned to her list, her mind whirling with a growing sense of unease as she worked. The storage room seemed to be shifting around her, the shelves appeared slightly taller than before, the shadows between them deeper and more ominous. It was as if the space itself was subtly resisting her attempts to organize it. The rust smudge on item 742 seemed to grow larger in her mind, a tiny, nagging voice whispering that something was off. But every time she tried to focus on it, Miss Fadhill's presence seemed to draw her back, like a magnet attracting metal filings. As the minutes ticked by, Kaida found herself becoming increasingly detached from her surroundings. The storage room blurred into a gray, featureless expanse, and even Miss Fadhill began to fade into the background, just another element in an ever-changing landscape of containers and shelves. And then, suddenly, everything snapped back into focus. The fluorescent light seemed brighter than before, casting long shadows across the floor as Kaida stood up, her clipboard still clutched in one hand.